right, and this is the last part of the fruit tree orchard. Right here is a sad looking little Coepia polyandra, or the Olosapo. It survived another winter. I don't know, so maybe it'll take off this year, but I have to put this cage around it because the rabbits were eating it. So it set it back about a year. Right here is a newly planted Sapote seedling. So this looks terrible. I don't know, I thought these were supposed to survive direct sun, and I transitioned it, but it's really been beaten up by the heat and wind, so I'm not sure if that'll survive, but I hope so. Over here is another green Sapote seedling, about the same age as the other, maybe about 4 years now. It seems to be happy enough. This is my banana orchard. This is a praying hands banana. These always come out of the winter looking like trash, but this is dwarf namois, and this is a variegated II or AA. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but this was newly put into the ground this year, and it made it through the winter, so it's alive. Here's a dwarf namois that has just been devastated by gophers, but these things are nigh unkillable, so it's still in the ground. Here is a regular namois, and I think one of them's producing a rack of bananas right now, coming out of the winter, so that's always good to see. Yeah, up at the top there, I can't really see it, but I'll zoom in. This is what the flower looks like coming out of the top. So that's the namois. These are big tall bananas. This is the blue Java, or ice cream banana. You can see what happens when they get too big. They just fall over. So this one fell over because it was holding a rack that was too big. Now it's just mulch. And this is a Goldfinger banana. These have really struggled right here. I need to pull these out. This one and this one are both Goldfinger, and they're like 3 or 4 years old, and this is as big as they've gotten. So I probably need to relocate those little guys. Okay. As you can see, I got a lot of area to plant stuff around here as I continue to expand the orchard. Could even put some under the phone towers here, electrical towers. And here we have a Malaysian red guava. Beautiful tree. A lot of fruit is held over the winter, but it usually tends to rot before I'm able to eat it. So I'm hoping that some of it will ripen without rot this year. And you can see all the new growth coming out. Beautiful red growth. It's really a pretty tree. Just the fruit's somewhat unspectacular for a guava. All right, here's a Cambodiana mango seedling. This one has really struggled. It got nibbled down by rabbits, knocked over in a storm. It's struggled, but this is another one where I've been given a little bit of human urine as fertilizer, some extra nitrogen, and this is the first year it's actually looking halfway decent, and it's holding some little fruitlets. So yeah, 6 feet tall. I might let this thing hold fruit this year just to see what it tastes like. Here is a yellow Cataly guava, and it's already starting to flower. This thing produces way too many fruit every year. It really sets the tree back from growth. This thing should be as big as my strawberry guavas I got them the same year, but it holds so many fruit, it really stunts the growth. You can see all the new little flower buds coming out. I really pruned it back this year because it was just a mess. All right, here's some old avocado stumps I dug out. And in place, I have this Yang Mei seedling. I've really struggled growing Yang May out here. I'm about to give up on them, but see if a seedling holds out for me. It'll actually grow. So far it's been in the ground for a couple months and hasn't died off and survived a 100-degree day. So, and here right next to this new gopher mound is a fruit punch seedling. This is part 3 of the fruit punch seedling. Fruit punch is one of my favorite mangoes, but I just cannot seem to get the seedlings to grow. And I always plant them in the same spot and they never make it. But this one made it through the winter. I just got to take care of this gopher before it chews it down. There's another big avocado stump I dug out. I'll be planting something here eventually. All right, this is a tropic white guava. Big old tree, produces sparingly, but it's got some fruit on it, and I love these things when they turn ripe. It's like a creamy white flesh, super flavorful, very little tartness. I just wish it would produce more fruit, but it's in the orchard and I like the fruit, so it's staying. This is the other Florida turpentine rootstock tree, and just like the other, you can see it's just flowers itself to death. This is a Valencia Pride. I need to pull away some of the dirt away from the trunk, but even a Valencia Pride doesn't seem to want to take out. It just has this long, lanky growth. I don't know. Seedlings are the way to go. Planting seedling mangoes is much better, in my opinion, for Southern California. This is the result. These big, long, lanky branches will produce fruit, and it'll literally fruit itself to death if you don't thin it. I keep hoping this thing will take off one year. I doubt it. Another avocado stump dug out. Here's another yellow Cataly guava. Lots of new growth. Again, really small tree. Always wants to flower itself to death. This was supposed to be a tropic white guava, and it turned out to be some hybrid of white and pink. So, see, the flesh is kind of orangish, pink. It's not a bad tasting guava. Produces a lot of fruit, lasts for a couple months. All right, this is a Kensington Pride seedling that's been in the ground for only about a year or two. I think this is about 2-year-old seedling. It's taken a little while to get going, but it's starting to take off. This one's not going to make it. I've given it a chance. It's about a year old now. This is called TJC mango. I picked it up over in Saudi Arabia, I think, but it's not going to survive. This is a CAC mango seedling, and it's only a couple years old, but it's been, I think this is going on its 3rd year maybe, but it's been moderately vigorous. And right next to it is a sweet tart mango seedling. This one also has struggled a little bit getting going. I think the soil up here is a little crappy, but I may have to feed it some human urine to get it going like the other trees. Some potted pineapple. All right, this was a crystal Yang May that just for some reason kicked the bucket. I have no idea why. It was growing fine, lasted 2 years in the ground, it looked halfway decent, and then just shat itself over the winter, and it's done. So over here is my greenhouse where I keep Garcinias. They're about the only thing that can survive the summer heat inside this greenhouse. So I have things like a chacha here. I've grafted on some mature budwood onto the sachacha to try to get fruit faster. This is an achacha seedling I'm grafting on as well. We have some imbe. Down there is the Russell Sweet Garcinia. I've clipped this one down because I'm trying to graft it onto this larger achacha tree. So both this one and this one, a Russell Sweet. And I have a number of others that I'm grafting on right now. This is Garcinia dulcis, the sweet variety, and it's already poking through. So that graft looks successful. And yeah, it's still kind of early, so I'm not seeing a whole lot of... Here's another Garcinia dulcis. Oh no, this is Frankie's Garcinia from Hawaii. Here's a couple Cypocerius bradii, the blue cactus that's supposed to make blue fruit. They've been pretty happy in here. Another Imbe, that's a Luke's Garcinia. Always like the new red growth on that. And this is a large Garcinia brasiliensis, or maybe it's intermedia. Either way, I'm mostly using those as rootstock for other Garcinia. And right here is, I forget the name, Myrcia publipetala. I had this one in the ground and it survived a couple winters, but it just would not really take off. So I dug it out, put it back in a pot, this big 15-gallon pot, and it seems to be really happy. It looked like it was on death's door, but now it's got all this new growth coming out. So I'm gonna leave it in this pot for a while, let it do its thing in there while it recovers. All right, on the back hill, we have my mango seedling experiment. So I've got a lot of different mango seedlings growing down here. Some of them are fairly young that I planted last year. I think this is a Pickering seedling that survived the winter. They're all fed by these drip lines. This is a Okrung Tong seedling. It's about 3 years old and it's flowering the first time. Maybe 4 feet high now. This was a Valencia Pride seedling that was doing great. Had an awesome trunk, no damage from gophers, and it just up and died for no reason. I have no idea why this thing just died, but sometimes they do that. So that's unfortunate. It was a pretty healthy looking tree up until about a month ago. These are a couple Alfonso mango seedlings. These things are getting pretty chunky now. You can see the trunk it's got kind of this split trunk, but this one always gets anthracnose during the winter time, and you can see it just, the leaves, I have to cut it back a lot because it grows on the stems. You can see it on the stems here, this black stuff. Not the healthiest seedlings by far. Same thing with this Alfonso seedling. Both are about 5 feet high now, and they've been in the ground for going on 4 or 5 years. However, right next to it is this Hayden seedling, about the same size, same age. Nice thick trunk on this one as well. And this one is so disease resistant. Always looks really good coming out of the winter, but still hasn't flowered yet for me. Really bizarre. I would expect it by now for this to flower. All right, here's some gopher damage, some trees that just didn't make it. Here's a cotton candy seedling. Survived the winter. The ice plant is encroaching on this one. What is this? This is a dwarf Hawaiian seedling, so yeah, I'm gonna have to dig the ice plant away from that so it doesn't steal the water and nutrients. Here's an orange sherbet seedling that's about 3 years old, and this one just has so much dieback coming out of the winter. I have to prune it back. It just hasn't really grown much. Here's a PPK seedling. Also, this one usually has a ton of disease with it as well. It's got a decently thick trunk on it now, but I've had to cut it way back. You can see all the new growth coming, but also this one has not yet flowered. This was lemon zest seedling, but it died. Now it's a cotton candy seedling that's buried in all this grass. I don't worry about the grass. It kind of preserves the moisture and protects the seedling from animals. is a, what is this? This is Maha Chinook seedling, about 3 or 4 years old. Nam Dak Mai, same age, except it's starting to push its first flowers now, so that's good. This is a Kensington Pride, and it's got a lot of flowers popping all over it now. Some little pink and yellow flower clusters, looking real pretty. We'll see if it holds any fruit. I might let it hold a fruit or two. It's been in the ground and for a while now. And this is a, this is Duncan seedling, about 3 years old. Here's a M4 seedling. This is about 2.5, and it's got flowers on it. It flowered for the first time last year at just barely 2 years old. But it's been a really vigorous seedling for me. It's at 2.5. It's got a nice little trunk. I'm excited about this one. I like its growth. And this is a, what is this one again? Let's forget this one. This is a honeykiss. This one's also been really healthy. Hasn't flowered yet, but it's about the same age as that M4, about 2.5, almost 3 years, and a lot of strong growth, very little disease. Now I've got a lot of these Atulfo seedlings that are about 6 feet high now. They're flowering, and I'm using these as rootstock. There's a whole line of them right here. Some of them are getting pretty tall. Here's another 6-foot Atulfo. These make really good rootstock, I think, for California. Very disease resistant. Always come out of, they take a little bit longer to take off than Kent or kit seedlings. But once they get going, they're definitely healthier. I've had a much better experience with these. You see, they flower at an early age as well. I've had a few fruit on them. They seem to hold true to seed. This is a top work project. So once they get about the size of those other Atulfos, I start top working them over to known varieties. So this one's just about done. This is another Alfonso. You can see the graft here. There's the graft union, and inside some of these are just starting to push. So I think this project will be done. This is what one of the finished projects look like. So this is a sweet tart, 2-trunk sweet tart, but this has been fully top worked over, and it's producing some little fruit. Pretty healthy seedling. I've got to stake a lot of these because the wind seems to knock them down. And I also have to deal with this shit where the gophers come and eat the roots out. I did a video several months back where these were some large trees that were just decimated by gophers. I had one here that's no longer here. That was a fully top-worked lemon zest, and yeah, the gophers just went to town on it. So I have to stay up on the gopher trapping. But I've got several other seedlings there that down this row that I'll be using for top working as well. These are all fully exposed, and then I have several levels down here that I need to weed whack. Believe it or not, there's seedlings in there. Here's one you can see poking its head out of the weeds. Some of these weeds are like 4 or 5 feet high. I got to go down there and weed whack them all, and a lot of it's thistle, so I'm not looking forward to that. So, just a couple more plants I'll show you here on this back hill, and then I'll wrap it up. This is a lemon zest. So this was another Atulfo seedling. You can see I've painted the trunk white here, and these have been top worked over. Here's the graft union. And then here's another graft union on this one. This one, the sprinklers got clogged up on, or the drip heads got clogged, and I didn't realize it, and it almost died. You can see it started drying up. I caught it in time, and it's coming back now. Here's another one that's had gopher damage. This is a fully top worked sweet tart. So good sized trunk down here. got about 4 or 5 branches that I top worked over to sweet tart, and I'll have to thin the fruit. I like it this size. This is a good little 4-foot high tree that's super healthy and produces a lot of fruit, so much so that I have to thin it out every year. So as you can see, as I go down some of these rows, I'm continuing to plant more seedlings, mostly sticking with known stuff now, as I'm just getting tired of top working things. And so I'll plant mostly just seedlings of known varieties with good quality, since they seem mostly to hold true to seed. Not 100%, but most of the fruit that most of the trees that I planted as mango seedlings, the fruit has been spectacular. This is a Kent seedling that's due for top working, but I'm gonna let it hold some fruit to see if the fruit's any good, since I really don't have any Kent fruit. Here's some fruit that's growing on it, and many more. I won't bore you with all of the seedlings that are planted out here, but again, what I've noticed is, I think if you're looking to top work plants and you want to plant mango seedlings, I'd go with Atulfo or Manila. Some of those Asian varieties, they seem to hold up a little bit better in our climate. Seem to be a lot less disease prone. And I'll show you what happens to a lot of the Kent seedlings that I plant. This is a pretty common occurrence. You can see the bark gets super gnarly, and sometimes it dies back to the cambium. So you get a lot of just disease on these Kent seedlings that I never see on Atulfo or Manila. Here's one that just up and died because of gophers. So there you have it. Even some old avocado stumps that I'll eventually top work over. This used to be an avocado orchard where everything on this hillside used to have about 600 avocado trees. Some of them, they were all stumped at one point. Some of them grew out of the rootstock, like these two, while all the others have died or rotted away, and I've been planting mangoes instead. So I'll keep you updated as things progress here, and as some of these little seedlings that are about 3-4 years old start producing fruit, or they get worked over to known varietals. All right, thanks for watching.